I'm investing into that business. I'm a shareholder now. Yes, you've got the idea and you're the creative, but I'm bringing in the money. So I now have a share in that business. And as long as we're together, if I die before you, then you're lucky, right? But in this case, if you go first, I'm still a business owner in that aspect. And I think if you're not comfortable sharing your IP, then you have to be comfortable putting in the money yourself. That's just the way it is. And I said earlier on that film is a business. If you've got a clever way to do massages, and you're the creative, you do the massages, you know how to do it, and you ask me to invest in it, I'm investing it because I want a return. We have to stop seeing show business as if it's completely different from any other business. It's exactly the same principles. People that are investing in it are investing because they want a return. And unfortunately, people that are putting in the money have got a formula with which they work. The world works with that formula. And as long as we see show business and we see our creative aspects as separate from any other business, we'll keep struggling the way we're struggling right now, because the way so I think it's important to treat it as such and then figure out, what am I prepared to? They're all evils, but which ones can I live with at the early stage? There's only a few people that can dictate creatively what they still want to do. The Steven Spielbergs of the world. But a lot of these directors, the stories that you see are not what they want to tell. They've been told how to tweak it. Because at the end of the day, Amazon or Netflix, they've got the audience. Netflix has got 300 million subscribers. They know what their subscribers want to see. They've got the algorithms. They don't share that data, but they know. They know that this sector does well than that sector. These territories work better than these territories. A story needs to be set up like this. My audiences only have a 10 minutes attention span. If in the first 7 minutes, if I don't have that guy hooked on the story, he'll change. So they've got their algorithms which they want to see, and they'll tell you what they want based on those algorithms. Otherwise, they can't get the subscribers. So unfortunately, we have to navigate with those guys because they control the purse. Else, we must have our own purse to dictate what we want to tell.
All I'm saying is basically, I think you guys are realistic about the percentage share and how much you are giving away of this, this basket. I mean, 50% I think is exploitation. Unless those guys also put 50% into this, I think they should, demand for the financing and this equity, the equity financing or equity share in the business. They should ask a lesser percentage. I think 50% is really greedy and unrealistic. Unless unless you're going to turn it into a business and stay in that marriage for the rest of your lives.
I just want to point out the percentage you own will always be relative to the money that's been put in. No one's going to give you, if it's 10 million, I can't give you 1 million and take 50%. It's wrong on every level. When you get given money to make something, you can forget it because it's not your money. It's like, people get given money to make toilet paper. They have to pay it back. They don't go around saying, thanks for the money, I'm going to take all the profits. But I also want to say the flip side, and I understand there are lots of exploitative people out there, right? People who want to give you little and want the world in return. There are those types. And producers need to be, and that's why you need a producer. You need to be able to negotiate these things. And the more knowledgeable you are, the less advantage you're going to get taken off. But let's flip it and say you lose all the money. So when we're losing, the 30% equity partner doesn't come to you and say, you need to sell your house now and pay me my money, because we're losing together. And a film, let's be honest, guys, we're in Africa. How many movies and returns? Unless you have rebates and grants involved, we're not making money. So chances are we're gonna have a massive hit, yes. But most often we're gonna have a loss until the entire industry grows, and everybody shares in that loss all the way till the end. The reason why it goes on to perpetuate, but you can say you can exit after 10 years, especially if you pay somebody off. When you do your contracts, you can say these are the exiting strategies. After we get to pay you your money and your return on investment, we'd like to reduce your ownership in the film up until this point, until you exit. You can negotiate that deal. If you feel that you're unable to sell this film and it's a risk you don't want to take, then you would give that person a lifelong share, because if you lose, after 15, 20 years, the movie's not going to make you any money. And if it is make you money, it's like $5,000 USD or $10,000 at the most. So there is the flip side about money to make this movie. And I'm going, why don't I have 30 million to make it actually? So I think we must also look at the flip side of what happens if we lose. And then producers need to be there to be able to negotiate, or in the beginning contractual phase before you take money, because we all get excited about taking money, is to negotiate your terms and conditions and say, this is when we reach certain points, there have to be exit strategies.
Okay, let's give someone else a chance.
Good morning. My question is, we often, in regular pitches, we have time to actually sell our whole pitch, our whole product. But in terms of an elevator pitch, what key points should we address in those 3 to 4 minutes or even less?
Yeah, that's it.
College to that. So basically my question is, as we're learning more about pitches, is it advisable to use videos and music in the pitches also? That's my question.
Okay, should we take a third one? Yeah, let's take one more. That's it? Ask questions, guys.
No, they're ready to pitch. Let's do it.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I just wanted to ask in regards with someone who is pitching for the first time. You said you have to bring in a producer, which is very important. Now, I wanted to find out that if what you are selling is a story, to the people that you're pitching to, what do they look at to buy into your work? Is it do they count on the producer or your story? You also mentioned something very interesting, like you attach something like three shots or a shot just to make your work stand out, and also referencing certain movies. Now, if you're coming like here in Namibia, which movies would you like to reference to, or would you use their industry, or like Nigerian industry or American industry? If you're coming from Namibia, would you be comfortable to use an industry that is not yours?
Okay, we're gonna answer those 3 for now. Who would like to go? Just no, yeah, we'll have another floor to take more questions. Oh, okay, it's fine. We'll give you the mic now.
Yes, mine is really just an advice. Oh, you can see me. I'm tall enough even when I'm sitting. Yeah, so mine is really just an advice I'm hearing all these questions and also some observations and so on, questioning about like equity and exploitation and all that. And really to the young people, I think we are forgetting one key thing, Uncle Google. There is a lot that you can pick up by just Googling pitching. And then even go to YouTube, there are hundreds of videos that can show you practical pitchings. And also understanding equity and investment and all that. For example, these things are quite available there. And I'm not saying don't ask questions, but I mean, just please remember Uncle Google and go there and just, there is a lot to learn. I know of filmmakers all over the world that learned not by going to film school, but by YouTube. just doing YouTube videos and so on. Just an advice.
Thank you so much for the advice. Okay, we're going to answer those questions. Bianca, would you like to start?
Sure. On the elevator pitch, if you have 5 minutes, well, elevator pitch technically is 30 seconds. The last thing I want is someone to pitch me an idea in the elevator. But if you have 5 minutes, I would say break them up. Try and get to your story as fast as possible. Use the visuals. That's why I say choose 5 panels, your visuals that express your film. Use 3 minutes to talk about your story, and the other 2 minutes to tell them the logistical part about it, if you have that kind of information, or use 4 minutes on that and the 1 minute to say the honest part, where you ballpark the film and what you're looking for. Remember, a pitch is not only telling them what you want, you can also tell them what you're looking for. Sorry. Mix that up. It's not what they want only, it's what you're also looking for. So you can actually stand in front of a streamer and say, this is where I'm at, I need a producer. And if they really love your idea, they're in any way going to put you with the right producer. They might even help put you with a writer if you're a director going there. They'll also go, this is a fantastic concept, we see the value in it, we'd like to give you a writer to work with. But if you go there boisterous and you're like, this is my thing, this is my team, we're going to do it, and it costs 5 rand, they're going to say bye. So I would say focus on the story and then an idea of what it's going to cost for a first-time person.
Yeah, maybe I can just add. I think for me, like, I think the elevator pitch thing is it is that, right? It's I could be going to the 15th floor, but I could just be going to the 2nd floor. So I think being clever on your log line is maybe the quickest way to get through that, right? Because the log line hooks you, and being able to pose it in a way that is super interesting to say, let me listen a little bit more. So I think the concept of elevator pitches is always, how do you keep the guy interested? So give the really good parts, hook him on something that says, okay, that's interesting. If it's a question, if it's imposing, if it's edgy, it's always better, because then it's like, I'm interested, let's talk. The other stuff is always easier to get into later, especially when you have a story. A lot of times, if you bump into somebody and you want to sell them on something, they're probably busy mentally somewhere else, right? So to try and explain to them that, no, so Tsepo meets this guy, and then they go on this trip, and then they meet this other lady, and then they have this, and it's very easy to lose somebody because they need to focus to really understand what you're saying. So it's always better to have a nice, catchy log line, which you know very well, which you can pitch in a very entertaining manner, and then you try and buy time for everything else, because you never know how much time you really have, and then you sort of give out what's important based on who you're pitching to. So you don't just pitch to anybody. You know that this guy's from NBC. This is what they're looking for. Start off with the log line, and then you direct your pitch based on what you know they're looking for. If it's somebody like De Beers. De Beers now are struggling with diamonds because of these synthetic diamonds, right? So if I meet the CEO of De Beers in an elevator, I can start talking about, I've got this $15 million movie. I'll use this money for directing and this money for that. I've lost him, right? He's got his core things that he's looking for, and if I have a clever way to address problems that De Beers has through film, I've got his attention, right? So it's, what are the problems of the world, and how do I tell this that creatively, and then from there onwards, how do I monetize it? I think there was another question around the visuals. So the reference that I was talking about is reference for the type of film that you're going for and the type of story that you're going for. So it doesn't have to be localized, right? So if I'm doing a film that is similar to Blood Diamonds as an example, I could reference that to say, this is the type of story and theme or whatever it is that we're looking for, that we're going for. It just and obviously when it's international, people probably know it more, especially if you're pitching to somebody. If I'm pitching to somebody from South Africa and I tell them, it's like Katutura, I might lose them because they probably haven't seen it or they don't know it. But if I say no, it's like, I don't know, Soweto or something like that, then they might probably relate to it a lot more. So it's always better to gauge it based on who you're talking to.
I also want to say on this 30-second elevator, I think we've trapped ourselves in a way, right? The idea of a 30-second elevator pitch comes from a time when in America you could potentially be in the same elevator with a Wall Street person who invests in films. And you could be with an executive whose business model is in an area where they're looking for thousands of concepts. And I feel like it's created this idea amongst us that one day we're going to bump into somebody that's going to, I must be ready. Yes, you must always be ready. But at every festival you go to, I can almost guarantee you, every festival that I go to, I don't have the time to randomly meet somebody unless I'm having a drink. Because there are other people that have spent weeks booking time with you. So you already have lunch booked, you already have a coffee meeting booked, you already have a 12 o'clock quick meeting, you're sitting on a panel. So all the important people that you really need to get to are already fully booked. And chances are, because we haven't done our research, we haven't really prepped to go to a thing, we're like, oh, hey, my name is so-and-so, please can I talk to you about my movie? I'm going to say no, because they literally don't have the time for it. So we mustn't get trapped constantly that there's this miracle going to happen, that someone's going to want to hear my pitch by accident. But it can happen. It's never happened to me. So let's not get trapped in that. Let us make an effort to be in a pitching environment. Their job is to take care of you and nurture you and open these doors. So chances of you grabbing one of us in an elevator is very unlikely, because that time is already dedicated to somebody who's pitched, and now we have to go sit in a room and give them that opportunity. So preparation.
And maybe I could just add as well. So, like I said, this year I went to 2 festivals now. Actually, not festivals, 2 marts, like film markets, which is slightly different from festivals, because the markets that's the business side of it, right? It's more talking to other producers, et cetera, whereas the film festivals, it's a lot more sort of watching. So this would typically be on the film market side, and then you've got the films playing there, which will be more festival. But with both Durban and Cape Town, even now with MIPCON, they've got the same platform. Even Film Week in America, when you register, you get a database of everyone that's attending, so you can actually set up those meetings a lot sooner. So ahead of the sessions, you can set up all the different meetings of different people that you actually want to meet, and that's very powerful, because I think for Durban, I think the fee was like 2,000 Namibian dollars. And it sounds like it's a lot, but for 2,000 Namibian dollars, I've got access to so many people. Their email addresses, not just email addresses, I can actually set up a meeting with the biggest director in Africa. So it's a small investment, and it just depends, where do you put your money? Do you put it in saying, I'm going to do my proof of concept, or I'm going to fly to this place, or I'm going to register for this? Even if you don't go there, just having access to the database is giving you some form of access. And those collaborations, that's where you find them. If you call, a little bit harder, but if there's a platform that allows you to access this person on the back end, super, super useful.
Okay, thank you so much. We've come to the end of our session.
Oh, sorry, before you end, I just want to say, guys, also, if you are beginning and you don't know what to do, please do not go and spend money shooting a proof of concept, because you don't know what you're doing. Rather, try other forms. There's technological ways where you can get online. How do I create a presentation? There's AI. There's all those things you can use that don't involve you spending a lot of money. And now you have from October to June to save some money and be like, I'm going to DIF. I'm going to go to DFM. I'm going to get access to all those people. I'm going to set up as many meetings as I can, and then get prepared. But don't go spend your money unnecessarily thinking if I shoot what's in my mind, trust me, you're going to end up broker than before.
Thank you so much once again. It was a pleasure to have this conversation with you. Thank you for allowing us to pick your brains, and I'm sure everyone has gotten so much information, and the filmmakers who are about to pitch, I'm sure are very ready to do that with the information that you're able to give us here today. Thank you once again, and we are concluding. This is it.